Hi, I'm Dennis Bullock, General Manager of KSCJ. Well, Randy, 25 years has certainly flown by. You and I have been through a lot together, some good, some bad. Terror explosion, and of course 9/11. I believe you and I co-anchored together that morning, and that's one I'll never forget, and I'm sure you never were too. But you never lost your cool when you needed to pass on news that wasn't very good, whether it was about our community or it was about the nation. And that day I thought you were the consummate professional. We checked and double-checked all our sources and all our information before we went on the air with it, and you allowed me to grow a little that day too, because I have a tendency to get in a hurry sometimes, and you'd say, now let's make sure we got this right. Let's don't tell somebody something that's not accurate. And I believe that day we did our job. But you've done your job, and you've done it well for a long time, entertaining Siouxland and bringing things to your listeners that are of local interest, as I said earlier, but also of national interest too. And I've always admired the way that you can break down a subject matter so that others can understand it, and you can talk to the common man, so to speak, myself included. You're a man that has a lot of knowledge about a lot of subjects, and you're going to be sorely missed on the airwaves and around KSCJ. I see your retirement is bittersweet. I'm happy for you, but I'm a little sad for us. So I hope that you'll come back now and then when your replacement is on vacation or when we have an absence, and grace us with your presence and let us hear those golden tonsils rattle the speakers of Siouxland once again. So Randy, best of luck in your retirement, and we hope to see you again.
Good morning. Well, it's hard to do a summary of one's career in a short amount of time, and maybe mine doesn't deserve much more time than anybody else. It's been a matter of about 42 years I've been in radio. I'm one of those aging baby boomers, and I worked at KSCJ, a cumulative total of almost 25 years. And it's been quite a ride. I can't believe how fast the time has gone. And the other aspect is I'm in a position of privilege, or have been, because the nature of radio, I've never seen 2 days that are the same, let alone days that are the same as they are in a lot of workplaces. The other privilege I've had is working with some very talented broadcasters. Some have passed on and made a tremendous mark on my life in terms of the people I've worked with and have worked with and worked for. The management of Powell and KSCJ has given me a very long leash with respect to open line, and that's a benefit that a lot of people don't have, whether in broadcasting or doing something else for a living. I was first hired as news director after just missed Dick Michaels. He left to go to another station, and as it turned out, came back here. And I don't know how many news conferences, they call them pressers now, I guess, to be politically correct. Any number of press conferences, school board meetings, city council meetings, the breaking news like fire and weather-related issues. The higher profile things in this business, unfortunately, are oftentimes tragic. I think the most grueling amount of live airtime that myself and other people that night had to cover in a breaking story that had, as time went on, more components to it as we get to understand what had actually happened in the West Side murders. That was a tough go. Coming out sometimes in the middle of the night to cover weather. It's been quite a ride, and I don't know what my retirement holds for me. I've often said that God doesn't talk to me on a regular basis, but in this case I think he will, and he'll tell me what I'm going to do. He just hasn't told me what it's going to be yet. So it's a little bit intimidating, but another aspect I'm looking forward to is not getting up like at 3:30 in the morning. That'll be a luxury I haven't had very often, although I tend to sack in when I'm on vacation, but I even lie to about that when I say when I'm on vacation, I'm usually fishing, getting up before the sun comes up. So staying in the sack is going to be something I'm not really used to, but looking forward to. And again, it's been a privilege to work with and for the people here at KSCJ over all these years, and just a tremendous degree of listener loyalty. And but the business is changing. There's no getting around that. This is a medium that I'm not really used to. It's kind of foreign to me. It's the visual side of things, and that's taken on a whole new dimension with all the technology that's blossomed in the last generation or so. So it's been a good ride, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what the future has in store. When I was a kid, my politics were formed by either listening to my dad and his brothers have these, shall we say, debates. It's also the avenue I learned to cuss, because expletives would oftentimes fly in these political debates, but I saw the strong work ethic, the reliance on inner family and neighbors, and that's not a component that's very remarkable, unfortunately, these days. It just seemed to me, as my politics evolved, it was more, in my way of thinking, you still do a common sense approach. Smaller government, less taxes. Seems like we're going the other way now, but it's another thing. I don't know what the future holds in store for us as a country is the path we've taken in just the last few days with the election less than a week old now. So some of the callers, oh golly, it was wild. Colonel Jim Brown. There was, let's see, what was her name? Irish was her name. Another, we'd butt heads speaking of politics on frequent occasions. Another privilege I've had is to go to Washington, D.C. for, I think it's 21 times, and do the program out there, and meeting some higher profile people, talking with, not in studio, but with Dan Quayle on one occasion, all the congressmen and senators, and just the experience of doing live radio, local radio, 1,300 miles away was a real hoot. Not so much fun from a technical standpoint sometimes, but that was another privilege I've had. And speaking of which, I'd just like to say that I've gone on cruises, and in addition to Washington, D.C., and have got to enjoy places to see and make memories that I probably wouldn't have been able to do otherwise through working here at KSCJ. So I've had a lot of opportunities that people, and I say that in all modesty, that a lot of people haven't had, maybe won't have during their life. So it's been a real enriching experience relating to my work as a radio talk show host and a newsman in Sioux City. First of all, Jim has an effective demeanor on the air. He is to the point. He gives his message in basically the time frame that was agreed to, and it's been one of the most effective advertising vehicles via the live phone spot, as we call them, from Sioux City Paint and Decorating. And I'd like to think his business to some degree has been assisted by advertising on KSCJ. Well, I know it has. He'll be the first one to say that. So another one, although he's not in business anymore, is Ted Herbold, who ran Theo's Steakhouse. He had a great presence on the air and sold himself and his business very effectively. He knew how to do it. And there are a lot of people like that that have so opted to go with the live phone spot and are really good at it. And you try to hit a sales point, I think, but you also try to make it entertaining. So if you give an effective message from one standpoint, it's supported by another, and vice versa. So it's a good way to do business, I think. I'll probably do more substituting than I will calling in, because when Mark will go on vacation or needs a personal day, I'll fill in, and maybe for Sam as well. So I'm going to retire, but I'm not going entirely away.
So you're going to city area?
Yeah, I plan to. Plan to spend some more time with my 3 grandkids on their farm, East Algona, and just because of the mere distance, you just can't get over it as much as you'd like to. And they've been growing, obviously, and I'd like to be a bigger part of their lives, and that'll permit to do things like that. Any regrets? I don't think so. I couldn't change it if I could, you know. I had my crack at larger markets in St. Louis and San Diego, but it wasn't Sioux City. So, and just growing up 65 miles east of here, this has been my home for most of my life, and I wouldn't want can't see in any situation I'd leave. So, there you have it.
I'm Ron Lynn. I produced Open Line with Randy Renshaw for the last 6 years. I got started with Randy kind of by happenstance. I was originally hired to produce the local high school football games, and just through happenstance I ended up also producing Imus in the morning, and I saw Randy a lot in the morning doing his show, essentially walking into the studio with 2 newspapers and doing 3 hours with 2 newspapers. And I saw him doing that, and I saw that he needed stuff that he wasn't getting, and so I just started doing prep for him without his, and just giving it to him before the show. Eventually he came to me and said he wanted me to produce his show, and I said I would be very honored to do that, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Okay, my name is Jim Wolcott, owner of Sioux City Paint and Decorating. We were talking with one of our sales reps this morning, and we've been doing our live calls with Randy on the air for a long, long time. We think somewhere around 15 years or maybe a little bit more. And we've had a lot of good times. Randy's been out to the store and done live remotes here, and we've kidded around with each other a lot. Probably our best memory is the year that we were building the store here with the construction on April Fool's Day, that we told Randy that we had found a treasure chest buried at the bottom of the pile of dirt, and that we were going to open it up, and we'd already called the museum and the police department, and he was going to already to send over a crew to news crew to cover that deal. So we always kid him about the 4th of July and the time that the water tower, the leaking water tower out at Morningside, when he had several of the city council members on there, and we kidded around with Randy. We wanted everybody to come out that had ever gone to a sponge paint class and help us sponge paint the water tower after work. And I can remember Randy saying, oh, don't go there, because we're going to end up getting in trouble. Somebody's going to paint it. We're going to end up getting in trouble on it. But Randy's done a lot for our business. People are always kidding me about, I hear you on Randy's show, and of course after the April Fool's thing, I couldn't even go to the grocery store without somebody saying, boy, you got him good. That was great. You really got him good. So a lot of real good memories, and he's done a lot to help us in our business, and we're going to really miss him and wish him all the best of luck in his retirement.
Randy, congratulations on your retirement. I got to tell you, it's been an absolute honor to work with you, because you shared a story with Denny and I not long ago about growing up with a voice over in Storm Lake that kind of shaped your career and you in radio. And I got to admit to you, Randy, that your voice and you on the radio is that to me. I've always been able to look up to you, and I've never really remembered KSCJ without you being on our station. So the first couple of times I came in and produced Open Line when I was 18 years old and didn't have a clue. I was scared to death that I was going to ruin something on your show, and we worked through it and had a great time with me being your producer for a while, Randy. And every day I come in and get to work with you, I see it as a true honor. So I wish you the best in retirement, and we will Really miss you here at KSCJ, but we hope to have you back on the airwaves, you know, when somebody's gone, and we can keep you a part of the family, because we've all learned from you and we've all looked up to you, and you've just been a great person to work with, Randy. So congrats on your retirement and best wishes.
This is Dave Grossenheider, Director of Sales at Powell Broadcasting. It's been a privilege to work with someone who I consider to be a legend in the field of broadcasting. Randy Renshaw, I would describe as highly intelligent, laid back, with a wonderful sense of humor. You know, he has a knack of putting the people that he interviews at ease, especially those callers, both the listeners and the advertisers, and I've always really appreciated that about Randy. You know, he's covered all the major news events in the last 3 decades, including elections. The thing I think about is his annual trip to Washington, D.C. with the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce. Randy Renshaw, we'll surely miss him. He developed the brand that we know as KSCJ, and we're determined to continue that brand. Good luck to you, Randy. We wish you the very best in your retirement.
Randy, congratulations on your pending retirement. I'm very happy for you and happy that I have had the opportunity to work with you. I will tell you that I can still remember meeting you for the first time and trying to convince you to move from Southern California back to beautiful Sioux City to come back to work for KSCJ. You're a true professional. You've done a great job for the community and the company, and I wish you and your family the very best. Please say hello to Connor for me. 2 stories that I want you to remember me by, Randy, when you're done. Number 1, I want you to remember the trip to New Orleans and the manner in which you earned beads that evening on the street, which is something, quite frankly, that Dennis and I and Jeff Miller and Tim Harrison will never forget. And we'll not share that with the group about how exactly you did achieve those beads. And secondly is, if you haven't told the garage door story about the house on Kings Highway, you need to do it tonight to this group that's in front of you, because it is an all-time classic about the garage door going up and down. Congratulations again. Love you. Good luck to you.